Hey there. A while ago, I did a video on my top 10 watchouts for buying property in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. And today I wanted to deep dive into number 3, which is access. So while looking for property in Michigan's UP, you may notice occasionally you'll come across a listing that says seasonal access or deeded access or no legal access, which is a bad one. So there are a lot of properties in the UP where all around the property there are owners of other property, and the property may not be touching a road essentially. So in order to get to the property, you need to have deeded access. So this process involves talking to all the people surrounding you and having them basically sell you the ability to use their property to get to the property in question. So this is not a verbal agreement. This is something that would actually show up in the legal description. There would be a certain footage, like a 20-foot easement from point A to point B, and you would have legal right to basically drive in from the road through somebody else's property into the property in question. So if this is not set up already, it could be quite a pickle because maybe the people around there are not interested in doing this. What they're using their property for has no plans of having somebody else driving through theirs, which is understandable, right? So if you come across a property, and I have one here, this is TBD Ford Lake Road, which it shows you. It's a beautiful property. It shows you the boundaries. It doesn't attach to a road or a trail or anything. Now this, I am not sure if this is an ORV trail or if this is just a trail that's on the property. So this one I'm not sure, but if we go back and read the description, you'll notice it's quite reasonably priced because you can't get to it legally. So 10 acres for $20,000, very reasonable. Been on the market a while. It's going to take the right person to buy this. So, sorry about that. Everything sounds good, but then at the very end it says property lacks legal access. So a lot of times you might see where the property is surrounded by state land, or it could be surrounded by just regular folks that own property around there. But essentially what you would have to do as a property owner would be to go to these neighbors, and I do not know what happens if it's Michigan, the state of Michigan. I'd have to research that one. But you go and you say, I'm looking at buying this property. Would you consider allowing me easement to get to this property? And if they say, oh, sure, they're going to put a dollar amount on this. You're going to have to pay for surveys to get the surveys updated with the deeded access, which is not cheap. And you'd have to pay them for this so that it would be legal binding and part of your property description. So it's a pretty big undertaking to not have legal access. Now, if you're just looking for somewhere to hunt and there's a property that's up against Michigan state land, maybe it's land that's commercially available for hunting and you can walk in, like that might not be a big deal for you, but you know, you have to think like, what if in the future that land changes hands or Michigan sells it off to somebody else, or if there's nothing legal in your survey for your land that says you can get there, then you're trespassing to get there. So this is my number 3 because it's pretty important. If you can't get to your land, how are you supposed to enjoy it? Especially if you want to build or do anything where you need to drive in equipment, drive in supplies, if you want to build a cabin or something. If it's on the trail, it's a little easier, maybe, because you can definitely put a trailer on your four-wheeler and go in there. But yeah, just something to know. And this one, there's so many properties I've seen that don't have legal access, and I don't know how people are using them today. Do they just have an unspoken relationship with their neighbor? Maybe their neighbor doesn't know they're coming through and going to their property. Definitely something to know, especially if you're wanting to build. Pay attention to where the property is, who's around you, do you have legal access to get into it? Um, yeah, so that's what I had today. Thanks for listening. Take care.